Hello friends, welcome to BooksSoul. Today we are diving deep into the world of Kosala by Bhalchandra Nemade. This novel isn't just a story, it's a profound exploration of identity, the struggle with societal expectations, and the quest for meaning in life. Through the eyes of Pandurang, we witness a journey that many of us can relate to, the search for purpose in a world that often feels disconnected. If you've ever wondered about life's true meaning or felt the weight of personal choices, this is the book for you. Stick around as we explore the powerful themes and introspective reflections that make Kosala a timeless classic. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insightful book summaries. Let's get started. Kosala Introduction to Pandurang Sangvikar, Pandurang's early life and education. Bhalchandra Nemade's Kosala, The Cocoon, is an exceptional literary work that presents a raw and intimate portrait of rural and urban life through the eyes of Pandurang Sangvikar, the protagonist. Written as a series of diary entries, the novel captures the complexities of human emotions, relationships, and societal expectations, often with sharp wit and profound introspection. The opening chapter, Introduction to Pandurang Sangvikar, establishes the foundation of the story by delving into the protagonist's early life, his rural upbringing, and his initial reflections on his family and education. This chapter serves as the starting point of Pandurang's journey and highlights his inner conflict and growing detachment from the world around him. A glimpse into village life. The novel begins with Pandurang narrating his life in a small village in Maharashtra. His descriptions of the village are vivid and evocative, capturing the simplicity, beauty, and struggles of rural life. Pandurang's observations go beyond surface-level descriptions, offering a deep and often critical insight into the traditions, customs, and dynamics of village society. While he appreciates the natural beauty and close-knit community, he also critiques the rigid social structures, superstitions, and lack of progress. Pandurang's reflections on rural life are filled with nostalgia but also a sense of alienation. He feels trapped by the monotony and expectations of village life, yearning for a sense of freedom and individuality. His sharp observations reveal his dissatisfaction with the societal norms that dictate every aspect of life, from marriage and family to career and social status. This yearning for something beyond the confines of his village becomes a driving force in his narrative. Reflections on family. Pandurang's relationship with his family, particularly his father, is a central theme in this chapter. His father is portrayed as a stern, traditional man who values discipline, hard work, and societal reputation above all else. While Pandurang respects his father's dedication and sense of responsibility, he struggles to connect with him emotionally. This lack of connection creates a sense of distance between them, which is further exacerbated by Pandurang's introspective and individualistic nature. Pandurang's reflections on his father reveal his admiration for the man's strength and determination but also his frustration with his rigid worldview. His father's expectations weigh heavily on him, creating a conflict between his desire to pursue his own path and the pressure to conform to familial and societal norms. In contrast, Pandurang's relationship with his mother is tender and understated. She represents a quieter, more nurturing presence in his life, offering him moments of comfort and solace. However, like his father, his mother is also bound by societal expectations and her sacrifices often go unnoticed and unacknowledged. Through his reflections on his parents, Pandurang paints a poignant picture of the emotional complexities within a traditional Indian family. Education as a path to escape. For Pandurang, education becomes a potential escape from the limitations of his rural upbringing. His departure from the village to pursue higher studies in the city marks a significant turning point in his life. The transition from the simplicity of village life to the chaos and anonymity of urban life is both exciting and unsettling for him. In his diary entries, Pandurang reflects on the contrasts between the two worlds. The city offers him exposure to new ideas, people, and experiences, but it also highlights the alienation and superficiality of urban life. His initial excitement is quickly replaced by disillusionment as he confronts the harsh realities of the education system, which prioritizes rote learning over genuine intellectual curiosity. Despite his frustrations, Pandurang's time in the city broadens his horizons. He begins to question the values he was raised with and explores new ways of thinking. His reflections on his education reveal his growing awareness of the complexities of life and his struggle to find his place in the world. Diary as a window into Pandurang's mind. The use of a first-person diary format allows readers to enter Pandurang's inner world and understand his introspective and individualistic character. His diary entries are raw, honest, and deeply personal, offering a window into his thoughts, emotions, and struggles. Through his writing, Pandurang reveals his sharp intellect, dry humor, and existential musings. Pandurang's introspection often borders on self-criticism, as he questions his own beliefs, choices, and actions. His diary becomes a space where he can express his frustrations, fears, and aspirations without judgment. This intimate narrative style makes Pandurang a deeply relatable and human character, as readers can see their own doubts and struggles reflected in his words. Alienation and individuality. From the very beginning, Pandurang's sense of alienation is a recurring theme in the novel. He feels disconnected from his family, friends, and society, unable to fully embrace the roles and expectations imposed on him. His individualistic nature sets him apart, as he refuses to conform to the norms and values that dictate the lives of those around him. Pandurang's alienation is both a source of strength and vulnerability. It allows him to question and critique the world around him, but it also isolates him, leaving him with a profound sense of loneliness. This duality of his character makes him a complex and compelling protagonist, one who struggles to reconcile his desire for individuality with his need for connection and belonging. Humor and irony. A distinctive feature of Pandurang's narration is his use of humor and irony. His observations of the people and situations around him are often laced with sharp wit and subtle sarcasm. He critiques the hypocrisy and absurdities of societal norms with a keen eye, exposing the flaws and contradictions in a way that is both humorous and thought-provoking. Pandurang's humor, however, is not merely for entertainment. It serves as a coping mechanism, allowing him to navigate the challenges and frustrations of life. It also reflects his deep-seated disillusionment with the world, as he uses humor to mask his inner turmoil and existential angst, setting the stage for the journey ahead. The introduction to Pandurang Sangvikar is a powerful beginning to Kosala, setting the stage for the protagonist's journey of self-discovery. It introduces readers to a young man who is deeply introspective, critical, and conflicted, struggling to make sense of his place in the world. Through Pandurang's reflections on his early life, family, and education, Nemade explores universal themes of identity, alienation, and the search for meaning. The chapter captures the essence of a generation caught between tradition and modernity, offering a poignant and thought-provoking portrait of life in post-independence India. In this chapter, Nemade masterfully weaves together humor, irony, and introspection to create a rich and engaging narrative. Pandurang's voice is both personal and universal, making him a relatable and memorable protagonist. As the story unfolds, readers are drawn deeper into his world, eager to accompany him on his journey of self-discovery and transformation. This chapter is not just an introduction to Pandurang's life, it is an invitation to reflect on our own lives, values, and choices, making Kosala a timeless and profoundly impactful work of literature. Life in College, a detailed exploration from Kosala. The chapter Life in College from Bhalchandra Nemade's Kosala marks a significant phase in Pandurang Sangvikar's journey as he moves from his village to Pune to pursue higher education. This transition is not merely geographical, it is a deeply transformative experience that reshapes his worldview, intensifies his sense of alienation, and exposes him to the contrasts between rural and urban life, traditional values, and the systemic flaws of education. This chapter is a profound exploration of Pandurang's inner turmoil, his sharp observations on society, and his struggle to find meaning in a world filled with contradictions. Moving to Pune, a world of contrasts. Pandurang's departure from his village to Pune signifies the beginning of a new chapter in his life, filled with both excitement and trepidation. Pune, a bustling urban center, represents modernity, progress, and opportunity in stark contrast to the simplicity and stagnation of his rural upbringing. For Pandurang, the move is an escape from the confines of village life, yet it also plunges him into the chaos and impersonality of the city. Nemade vividly portrays Pune through Pandurang's eyes. The city's crowded streets, the incessant noise, and the rapid pace of life overwhelm him. Pandurang struggles to adapt to this new environment, feeling lost in the anonymity of urban life. The stark contrast between the close-knit, albeit restrictive, community of his village and the fragmented, impersonal nature of city life deepens his sense of alienation. Alienation in the city. Pandurang's alienation is one of the central themes of this chapter. In the village, his dissatisfaction stemmed from the rigidity of societal norms and the monotony of rural life. In the city, his alienation takes on a different dimension as he grapples with the indifference and superficiality of urban life. The chapter captures Pandurang's growing awareness of the emptiness underlying the so-called progress and sophistication of city dwellers. While the city offers him freedom from the traditional constraints of village life, it also exposes him to a new kind of oppression, one rooted in materialism, competition, and social pretensions. Pandurang finds himself caught between two worlds, unable to fully embrace the city's modernity, yet unwilling to return to the traditionalism of his village. His alienation is not limited to his external surroundings, it extends to his relationships and his inner self. Despite being surrounded by people, he feels a profound sense of loneliness. His introspective nature and refusal to conform to societal norms set him apart, making it difficult for him to forge meaningful connections. This isolation becomes a recurring motif, shaping his experiences and reflections throughout the novel. Observations on middle-class urban life. Pandurang's keen observations on middle-class urban life form a significant part of this chapter. Nemade uses Pandurang's sharp intellect and dry humor to critique the hypocrisy and contradictions of urban society. Through Pandurang's eyes, the reader sees a society obsessed with appearances and status. Middle-class families in the city strive to project an image of respectability and success, often at the cost of authenticity and genuine relationships. Pandurang is particularly critical of their materialistic pursuits, which he sees as shallow and unfulfilling. He also highlights the tensions between traditional values and modern aspirations. Many urban families cling to outdated customs and practices, even as they embrace modernity in superficial ways. This duality creates a sense of fragmentation, both within individuals and society at large. Pandurang's observations expose the cracks in the facade of urban life, revealing a world that is both alluring and deeply flawed. Education system, a flawed institution. The education system in Pune, as experienced by Pandurang, is another focal point of this chapter. For Pandurang, education initially represents a path to freedom and self-discovery. However, his experiences in college quickly disillusion him, as he confronts the systemic flaws and superficiality of the education system. Pandurang criticized the rote learning approach prevalent in colleges, which stifles creativity and critical thinking. He finds the curriculum uninspiring, designed more to produce obedient workers than independent thinkers. His professors, though knowledgeable, are portrayed as uninspiring and disconnected from the realities of their students' lives. The competitive and hierarchical nature of the education system further alienates Pandurang. Students are judged not on their understanding or originality, but on their ability to conform to rigid academic standards. Pandurang's frustration with this system mirrors his broader dissatisfaction with societal norms, as he yearns for an education that nurtures individuality and intellectual growth. Despite his disillusionment, Pandurang's time in college is not without its moments of growth and self-discovery. The exposure to new ideas, cultures, and perspectives broadens his horizons, challenging his beliefs and forcing him to question his values. This intellectual and emotional turmoil is a crucial part of his journey, shaping his identity and worldview. Pandurang's inner world. The chapter also delves deeply into Pandurang's inner world, offering readers a glimpse into his thoughts, emotions, and struggles. His diary entries reveal a complex and conflicted character, one who is deeply introspective and unafraid to confront uncomfortable truths about himself and the world around him. Pandurang's introspection often borders on self-criticism, as he questions his own motives, choices, and beliefs. He is acutely aware of his flaws and contradictions, which adds depth and authenticity to his character. His diary becomes a sanctuary where he can express his frustrations, fears, and aspirations without judgment. Through Pandurang's reflections, Nemade explores universal themes of identity, alienation, and the search for meaning. Pandurang's struggles resonate with readers, as they mirror the existential dilemmas faced by individuals in a rapidly changing world. Humor and irony. A distinctive feature of Pandurang's narration in this chapter is his use of humor and irony. His observations on the people and situations around him are often laced with sharp wit and subtle sarcasm. Pandurang critiques the absurdities of urban life and the education system with a keen eye, exposing their flaws and contradictions in a way that is both humorous and thought-provoking. This humor serves as a coping mechanism for Pandurang, allowing him to navigate the challenges and frustrations of life. It also reflects his deep-seated disillusionment with the world, as he uses humor to mask his inner turmoil and existential angst. Nemade's use of humor and irony adds a layer of complexity to Pandurang's character, making him a relatable and engaging protagonist. A turning point in Pandurang's journey. The chapter Life in College is a turning point in Pandurang's journey, marking his transition from the sheltered world of his village to the complexities of urban life. It captures the essence of a young man grappling with the contradictions of tradition and modernity, individuality and conformity, freedom and responsibility. Through Pandurang's experiences, Nemade offers a poignant critique of society, education, and human relationships. The chapter is both a deeply personal narrative and a universal exploration of the human condition, making it a cornerstone of Kosala. Pandurang's journey in this chapter is not just about his physical relocation to Pune, it is a journey of self-discovery and transformation. As he navigates the challenges of urban life and the education system, he begins to confront the deeper questions of identity, purpose, and belonging. This chapter sets the stage for the conflicts and revelations that define his character and shape the course of the novel. In Life in College, Nemade masterfully weaves together humor, introspection, and social critique to create a narrative that is both engaging and thought-provoking. The chapter invites readers to reflect on their own experiences and struggles, making Kosala a timeless and profoundly impactful work of literature. Friendships and Relationships, a deep dive into Kosala. In Kosala, Bhalchandra Nemade explores the intricate web of human relationships, focusing on the complexities of friendship and love in the life of the protagonist, Pandurang Sangvikar. The chapter on friendships and relationships delves into Pandurang's interactions with two key characters, Suresh and Leela, who significantly shape his worldview. Through these relationships, Nemade captures Pandurang's disillusionment with societal norms, the burden of expectations, and the loneliness that accompanies individuality. Suresh, the contrasting roommate. Suresh, Pandurang's roommate in Pune, is introduced as a character who provides a stark contrast to Pandurang's introspective and melancholic nature. Suresh is lively, pragmatic, and seemingly at ease with the world around him, representing the archetype of a man who has adapted well to societal norms. He enjoys the simple pleasures of life, forms friendships with ease, and seems unconcerned by the deeper existential questions that plague Pandurang. This contrasting personality highlights Pandurang's inner turmoil. Where Suresh thrives in the city's vibrant social scene, Pandurang struggles to fit in, constantly questioning the meaning and purpose of relationships. Suresh's carefree attitude often frustrates Pandurang, who finds it difficult to comprehend how someone can live so lightly in a world full of contradictions and absurdities. Despite their differences, Suresh and Pandurang form a bond that is both complex and revealing. Their conversations frequently become a medium through which Pandurang articulates his frustrations with life, societal hypocrisy, and his sense of alienation. Suresh, on the other hand, often dismisses Pandurang's concerns with a mix of humor and practicality, inadvertently forcing him to confront the futility of his relentless introspection. Leela, the symbol of unattainable love. Leela is another significant figure in Pandurang's life, embodying the idea of unattainable love. She is portrayed as a symbol rather than a fully fleshed out character, representing an ideal that Pandurang yearns for but cannot achieve. Their relationship, or lack thereof, mirrors the broader themes of longing, isolation, and disillusionment that permeate the novel. Leela's presence in Pandurang's life is fleeting yet deeply impactful. She is enigmatic, graceful, and seemingly out of reach, making her an object of fascination and desire for Pandurang. However, their interactions are marked by an unbridgeable gap, emotional, societal, or perhaps self-imposed. Pandurang admires her from a distance, building an image of her that is as much a reflection of his own fantasies as it is of her real self. This unfulfilled relationship underscores Pandurang's inability to form meaningful connections. His love for Leela is not rooted in reality, but in an idealized notion of what love should be. This romantic idealism, coupled with his deep-seated insecurities and fear of rejection, prevents him from expressing his feelings. Leela, on the other hand, remains unaware of the depth of Pandurang's emotions, further emphasizing the futility and one-sidedness of his affection. Disillusionment with societal expectations. Both Suresh and Leela serve as mirrors reflecting Pandurang's disillusionment with societal norms and expectations. Suresh's ability to navigate social conventions with ease makes Pandurang acutely aware of his own inadequacies and inability to conform. Leela's unattainability, on the other hand, reinforces his belief in the superficiality and hollowness of societal constructs surrounding love and relationships. Pandurang's relationships, or lack thereof, highlight the chasm between individual desires and societal expectations. In Suresh, he sees a man who has accepted societal norms and found a way to coexist with them, even thrive. In Leela, he sees a symbol of what society values in a woman: beauty, grace, and unattainability, qualities that are celebrated but rarely understood. This disillusionment is a recurring theme in Kosala, reflecting Pandurang's growing detachment from the world around him. He feels trapped by the roles and expectations imposed by society, whether it is the expectation to form friendships, fall in love, or conform to a particular way of life. His inability to meet these expectations isolates him further, deepening his sense of alienation. The dichotomy of connection and isolation. Pandurang's interactions with Suresh and Leela reveal the duality of his character, his longing for connection and his simultaneous fear of vulnerability. He yearns for meaningful relationships, but is unable to reconcile this desire with his deep-seated mistrust of people and societal norms. With Suresh, he finds companionship but also feels misunderstood. Suresh's pragmatic approach to life often clashes with Pandurang's introspective nature, creating a rift between them. Despite this, Suresh remains a grounding force in Pandurang's life, reminding him of the simpler joys that he often overlooks in his quest for deeper meaning. With Leela, the disconnect is even more pronounced. She represents everything that Pandurang desires but cannot attain, not because of external barriers but because of his own limitations. His idealization of her prevents him from seeing her as a real person, turning her into a symbol of his unfulfilled aspirations and desires. This dichotomy between connection and isolation is central to Pandurang's character. It reflects the human condition, where the need for companionship often clashes with the fear of rejection, betrayal, or loss. Nemade captures this universal struggle with remarkable depth and sensitivity, making Pandurang a deeply relatable and human character. Existential undertones. The chapter on friendships and relationships is not just about Pandurang's interactions with Suresh and Leela but also about his broader existential quest. His relationships serve as a lens through which he examines the nature of human connections, the role of societal norms, and the meaning of life itself. Pandurang's disillusionment with relationships is rooted in his belief that they are governed by superficialities and societal expectations rather than genuine emotions. This belief drives him to question the very purpose of forming bonds with others, leading to a sense of existential despair. At the same time, his longing for connection reveals his inherent vulnerability and humanity. Despite his cynicism, he cannot completely detach himself from the world or stop yearning for love and companionship. This internal conflict is what makes Pandurang such a compelling and multidimensional protagonist. Themes of longing and unattainability. Leela's role in the chapter highlights one of the central themes of Kosala, the longing for something that is forever out of reach. Whether it is love, freedom, or self-fulfillment, Pandurang is constantly chasing ideals that remain unattainable. Leela's unattainability is symbolic of Pandurang's broader struggles. She represents not just unrequited love, but also the impossibility of living up to one's own expectations and the expectations of society. This theme resonates throughout the novel, capturing the universal human experience of longing and the inevitable disappointment that follows. Humor and irony in relationships. Despite the seriousness of the themes, Nemade infuses the chapter with subtle humor and irony. Suresh's carefree attitude and practical wisdom often clash with Pandurang's brooding introspection, creating moments of lightheartedness that provide relief from the heavier existential themes. Similarly, Pandurang's self-deprecating humor adds depth to his character, revealing his ability to laugh at his own flaws and contradictions. A reflection of universal struggles. The chapter on friendships and relationships is a microcosm of the broader themes explored in Kosala. It captures the complexities of human relationships, the conflict between individuality and societal norms, and the universal struggle to find meaning and connection in a chaotic world. Through Suresh and Leela, Nemade portrays two contrasting aspects of life: pragmatism and idealism, acceptance and longing, reality and fantasy. Pandurang's interactions with them reveal his own contradictions and vulnerabilities, making him a deeply human and relatable character. This chapter is not just about Pandurang's relationships, but about the human condition itself. It invites readers to reflect on their own friendships, loves, and disillusionments, making Kosala a timeless and profoundly impactful work of literature. Disillusionment and reflection, Pandurang's existential crisis in Kosala. In the second part of Kosala, Bhalchandra Nemade delves deeper into Pandurang Sangvikar's psyche, exploring his existential crisis. This section highlights Pandurang's struggles with loneliness, a pervasive lack of purpose, and his sharp critique of societal norms, including marriage, family structure, and the education system. Through his reflections, Nemade paints a poignant picture of a young man grappling with the weight of expectations, disillusioned by the world around him. Pandurang's struggles with loneliness and lack of purpose. Pandurang's loneliness is not merely physical isolation but an intense psychological experience. Despite being surrounded by people, friends, family, and peers, Pandurang feels profoundly disconnected. He is trapped in his own thoughts, which oscillate between self-doubt and existential questioning. This sense of alienation intensifies as he tries to reconcile his individuality with societal expectations. He often questions the very meaning of life, asking himself whether there is any purpose to the endless cycles of study, work, and familial responsibilities. This lack of purpose makes him apathetic towards the rituals of daily life. The monotony of academic life and the hollow interactions with his peers only deepen his despair. Pandurang's struggle is not just a personal battle but a reflection of the existential crisis faced by individuals in a rigid and conformist society. His loneliness serves as a metaphor for the isolation felt by those who dare to question the status quo. Critique of societal norms. Pandurang's disillusionment extends to the societal structures that shape human behavior. He critiques the norms and traditions that dictate people's lives, finding them oppressive and devoid of meaning. 1. Marriage. Pandurang views marriage as an institution that traps individuals in a web of obligations and societal expectations. To him, marriage represents the loss of personal freedom and individuality. He observes how people enter into this bond, not out of love or understanding, but because it is expected of them. For Pandurang, the idea of marriage is symbolic of the compromises people make to conform to societal standards, often at the cost of their happiness and identity. Through Pandurang's eyes, Nemade questions the necessity and relevance of marriage in a world where individual fulfillment often takes a backseat to social conformity. This critique resonates with anyone who has felt the pressure to adhere to societal norms without questioning their validity. 2. Family structure. The family, often idealized as a source of love and support, is another target of Pandurang's criticism. He sees the traditional family structure as a hierarchical and oppressive system where individuality is sacrificed for collective expectations. Pandurang's critique highlights the flaws in the family structure, portraying it as an institution that stifles personal growth and enforces conformity. His observations encourage readers to rethink the traditional notions of family and question whether they truly foster individuality and emotional well-being. 3. Education system. Pandurang's disillusionment with the education system is a recurring theme in Kosala. He perceives it as a factory-like structure that prioritizes rote learning and grades over creativity and critical thinking. In Pandurang's view, the education system fails to nurture a student's individuality and instead molds them into cogs in a larger societal machine. The emphasis on discipline and conformity crushes any spark of originality or independent thought. Pandurang feels that the system prepares students to fit into predefined roles rather than empowering them to carve their own paths. His critique of the education system is not limited to its structure but extends to its content as well. Pandurang finds the curriculum irrelevant and disconnected from the realities of life. He questions the value of memorizing facts and theories that have little practical application, wondering whether education should instead focus on understanding human experiences and fostering empathy. Existential reflections. Pandurang's existential crisis leads him to reflect on the larger questions of life, such as the purpose of existence, the nature of happiness, and the meaning of success. He becomes increasingly skeptical of the values promoted by society, such as wealth, status, and relationships. Rejection of materialism. Pandurang rejects the materialistic pursuits that dominate modern life. He sees people around him chasing wealth and possessions, believing that these will bring them happiness. However, Pandurang recognizes the emptiness of this pursuit. To him, material wealth is a poor substitute for inner fulfillment and genuine human connection. Search for authenticity. Pandurang yearns for authenticity in a world that thrives on pretense. He desires relationships and experiences that are untainted by societal expectations. However, his search for authenticity often leads to disappointment, as he realizes that most people are unwilling or unable to break free from the roles imposed on them. Cynicism towards society. As Pandurang reflects on his life and the world around him, his cynicism grows. He begins to see society as a construct designed to suppress individuality and enforce conformity. This realization fuels his alienation, making it even harder for him to connect with others. The universality of Pandurang's crisis. Pandurang's existential crisis is not unique to him but reflects a universal human experience. His struggles with loneliness, lack of purpose, and disillusionment resonate with anyone who has questioned the meaning of life or felt trapped by societal expectations. Through Pandurang, Nemade captures the essence of the human condition, a constant tension between individuality and conformity, freedom and responsibility, meaning and absurdity. Conclusion. In the second part of Kosala, Bhalchandra Nemade masterfully explores Pandurang's existential crisis, offering a profound critique of societal norms, marriage, family structure, and the education system. Pandurang's reflections force readers to confront the contradictions and flaws in the world they inhabit, challenging them to question their own beliefs and values. Through his struggles, Pandurang emerges as a deeply relatable character, embodying the fears, doubts, and hopes that define the human experience. His journey is a reminder that disillusionment, though painful, is an essential step in the search for truth and authenticity. In Kosala, Nemade not only tells the story of an individual but also captures the essence of a generation grappling with the complexities of modern life. This section of the novel is a testament to Nemade's brilliance as a writer, offering insights that are as relevant today as they were when the book was first written. Kosala returned to the village, a journey into estrangement and reflection. In Bhalchandra Nemade's Kosala, the chapter detailing Pandurang's return to his village serves as an emotional and philosophical core of the novel. It brings forth a poignant exploration of human connection, identity, and the disconnection between past and present. Pandurang revisits the place of his childhood with hopes of rekindling a sense of belonging, but what he finds is a growing chasm between his memories and reality. The village, which once felt like home, now appears alien and unwelcoming. This chapter lays bare Pandurang's struggle with his roots, his relationships with his family, and his evolving self-perception. 1. The journey back, a search for lost identity. Pandurang's return to his village is not just a physical journey, it is deeply emotional and symbolic. After years in the city, where he grappled with loneliness, existential questions, and societal alienation, he hopes the village will provide solace. He believes that revisiting his childhood home might help him reconnect with the simpler, more innocent version of himself. As Pandurang approaches the village, he is filled with memories, vivid images of his childhood, the people he once knew, and the places that shaped his early years. Yet, there is also a sense of trepidation. He wonders if the village, and by extension, his own identity, has changed irreparably. 2. Reflection on childhood. Upon returning, Pandurang begins reflecting on his childhood. His memories are tinged with nostalgia and simplicity, days spent playing in the fields, the unspoken warmth of family bonds, and the carefree life that now feels like a distant dream. However, these memories are quickly overshadowed by the stark reality of the present. The village he remembers is no longer the same. The people, the landscape, and even the culture seem altered, as though they belong to a different world. This realization deepens his sense of estrangement. The very place he thought would offer solace now feels foreign. 3. Family relationships, a study in alienation. Pandurang's interactions with his family further highlight his disconnection. His parents, siblings, and extended family are not the comforting figures of his childhood but rather distant individuals who fail to understand him. Their lives are rooted in traditions and expectations that Pandurang has long questioned or rejected. His father, who once represented authority and discipline, now seems tired and resigned. His mother, once the emotional center of the household, is preoccupied with mundane routines and offers little emotional engagement. These relationships, which should provide comfort, instead exacerbate Pandurang's feelings of being an outsider. Moreover, his family's expectations of him to settle down, find a steady job, and conform to societal norms clash with his inner turmoil and resistance to conventional life paths. This disconnect creates a sense of failure in Pandurang, as he realizes that he cannot meet their expectations nor find meaning in their way of life. 4. The village, a mirror of estrangement. The village itself becomes a metaphor for Pandurang's internal state. It is no longer the idyllic place of his childhood memories. The fields, once lush and vibrant, now seem barren and neglected. The people, once warm and familiar, now appear indifferent and distant. Pandurang observes how the village has succumbed to the pressures of modernization and changing times. Traditional values have given way to practicality, and communal bonds have weakened. He feels like a stranger in his own home, unable to bridge the gap between his past and present. This estrangement is not just about physical changes, it is also deeply emotional. Pandurang realizes that his idealized memories of the village were just that, idealized. The place he longed for no longer exists, if it ever truly did. This realization adds to his growing sense of disillusionment. 5. Reflection on roots and identity. Pandurang's return to the village forces him to confront questions about his roots and identity. He struggles to reconcile the person he has become with the person he was in his childhood. His time in the city has shaped him in ways that make it impossible for him to fully reintegrate into village life. Yet, at the same time, he feels a deep sense of loss. The village represents a part of himself that he can never reclaim. This duality of wanting to belong but being unable to creates a profound inner conflict. Pandurang reflects on how his education and urban experiences have distanced him from his roots. While these experiences have given him a broader perspective, they have also alienated him from the simplicity and authenticity of rural life. He questions whether this trade-off was worth it and whether he has lost something essential in the process. 6. The sense of failure. One of the most striking aspects of this chapter is Pandurang's growing Pandurang's return to the village to explore broader philosophical to connect with his family. The chapter delves into questions about the nature of identity and failed to find a sense of purpose or the meaning of home. This sense of failure is not just personal, it is the rigidity of a larger critique as well as the superficiality of modern life. Pandurang's struggles highlight the tension between tradition and belonging, individuality and conformity, and past and present. This shift inability to challenges either the village or the rapidly changing world alienation where old certainties no longer hold true. 8. Conclusion: a journey without closure. Pandurang's return to the village is not a triumphant homecoming but a sobering confrontation with reality. He leaves the village with more questions than answers, carrying a deep sense of loss and disconnection. This chapter serves as a microcosm of the larger themes of Kosala, the search for meaning, the struggle with societal expectations, and the complexities of human relationships. Pandurang's journey is deeply personal yet universally resonant, capturing the essence of the human condition. In the end, Kosala reminds us that the search for identity and belonging is a journey without easy answers. Pandurang's return to the village underscores the tension between who we were, who we are, and who we hope to become, a tension that defines us all. Final reflections: the unfinished struggle for meaning in Bhalchandra Nemade's Kosala. The conclusion of Kosala takes us deep into the heart of the human condition. As the novel draws to a close, Pandurang's diary offers a poignant reflection on his existential journey, full of philosophical musings about life, its inherent futility, and his relentless search for identity. In these final reflections, Nemade masterfully captures the unresolved nature of the modern individual's struggle with self-identity, belonging, and the complexities of existence. Pandurang's musings represent not only his personal crisis, but also the collective anxiety of a generation struggling to find its place in a rapidly changing world. This final section of the novel is profound because it highlights the ongoing battle within each individual to understand themselves in a world that feels increasingly fragmented and alienating. Through Pandurang's reflections, we witness a deep sense of introspection, a grappling with questions that are as universal as they are timeless. The search for meaning, a philosophical odyssey. Throughout the novel, Pandurang has been on a quest, not just for personal fulfillment but for deeper meaning in life. He has struggled with his relationships, his place in society, and even his own identity. But the more he searches, the more elusive answers seem to be. As the novel concludes, Pandurang's thoughts turn to the futility of this quest, how, despite all his searching, he remains caught in an unending loop of existential questioning. In his diary, Pandurang contemplates the nature of existence itself. He wonders if life is merely a collection of experiences, meaningless in their randomness. His reflections are not dissimilar to the ideas expressed by existential philosophers who argue that human life is inherently devoid of meaning. For Pandurang, this realization is both liberating and suffocating. He questions whether it is possible to ever find true meaning, or if it is simply a human construct, something we create in an attempt to make sense of a chaotic world. Pandurang's questioning is not just intellectual but deeply emotional. He reflects on his childhood, his relationships, and the fleeting moments of joy and fulfillment he experienced. However, these moments seem to evaporate in the face of the harsh reality of life. The transient nature of happiness and fulfillment makes him wonder whether it is all worth pursuing. Is the search for meaning simply an endless cycle of dissatisfaction, with each moment of clarity only leading to greater confusion? The futility of social norms and expectations. As Pandurang reflects on his life, he becomes acutely aware of the futility of societal norms and expectations. Throughout the novel, Pandurang has been in conflict with societal conventions, particularly with the notions of marriage, family, and education. His relationship with these institutions has always been strained. He has never fully conformed to the roles that society expects him to play, and his inability to fit into these predefined boxes only deepens his sense of alienation. In his final musings, Pandurang critiques the social systems that define human existence. He challenges the very idea that these norms hold any real value or significance. For him, marriage becomes a symbol of societal pressure, an institution that forces individuals into predefined roles without allowing them to explore their true selves. Similarly, the concept of family, which is often seen as a source of support and love, becomes for Pandurang a source of conflict and disillusionment. He sees these traditional structures as institutions that serve to stifle individual freedom and creativity rather than nurture it. Pandurang's reflections on education are equally critical. His own experiences with the educational system have left him feeling disillusioned. Rather than providing him with a deeper understanding of the world, education has only served to reinforce existing social hierarchies and perpetuate conformity. In Pandurang's view, the pursuit of education has become another futile exercise in meeting societal expectations, rather than a genuine search for knowledge and personal growth. This critique of societal norms is a central theme in Kosala, as it challenges the reader to question the value of the institutions and systems that structure our lives. Nemade forces us to confront the possibility that these structures, rather than providing meaning or fulfillment, may be contributing to the very sense of emptiness that Pandurang feels. The crisis of identity, unresolved and open-ended. The most striking aspect of Pandurang's final reflections is the sense of unresolved struggle that permeates his thoughts. Throughout Kosala, Pandurang has been searching for a sense of self, trying to understand who he is in relation to the world around him. But as the novel ends, his search remains incomplete. There is no grand revelation, no moment of clarity that resolves his internal turmoil. This unresolved struggle is a reflection of the modern human condition. In a world that is increasingly fragmented and uncertain, many individuals experience a sense of being lost or disconnected. The search for identity, for meaning, is ongoing, and there are no easy answers. Pandurang's failure to find resolution mirrors the open-ended struggles of countless others who are trying to make sense of their place in the world. This open-endedness is both a powerful literary device and a profound philosophical statement. It suggests that the quest for identity is not something that can be neatly concluded. It is a journey that continues throughout life, full of twists and turns, moments of doubt and clarity, and constant re-evaluation. Pandurang's failure to find answers is not a sign of his weakness but rather an acknowledgement of the complexity of human existence. Life, as Nemade presents it, is not a puzzle to be solved, but a process to be experienced. The universal nature of Pandurang's struggle. Pandurang's internal conflict is not unique to him. His reflections are universal, resonating with anyone who has ever struggled with questions of meaning, purpose, and identity. In his diary, Pandurang's thoughts echo the experiences of countless individuals who feel disconnected from society, who feel the weight of societal expectations pressing down on them, and who wonder whether their search for meaning is ultimately futile. The beauty of Kosala lies in its ability to capture the essence of this universal struggle. Nemade's portrayal of Pandurang's inner turmoil speaks to the broader human experience, inviting readers to reflect on their own lives and their own search for meaning. Through Pandurang's reflections, Nemade challenges us to confront the emptiness that often lies at the heart of our existence and to embrace the ongoing nature of our search for identity. Conclusion: an open-ended journey. The final reflections in Kosala leave us with a sense of both closure and unresolved tension. Pandurang's philosophical musings on life, futility, and identity offer no easy answers, but they encourage readers to continue their own journeys of self-discovery and introspection. In this way, Kosala mirrors the struggles of modern individuals who are constantly searching for meaning in a world that often seems indifferent to their quest. Pandurang's diary may end, but the questions it raises continue to reverberate long after the final page is turned. The unresolved nature of his narrative serves as a reminder that the search for identity and meaning is never truly finished, and that the journey itself is just as important as the destination. In the end, Kosala is not a story with a neatly tied-up conclusion, but a philosophical exploration of the ongoing human struggle to find one's place in the world. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of books and stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Join us for more powerful stories, timeless classics, and inspiring tales that will enrich your mind and soul. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Let's explore the world of literature together. Your support means the world to us.